that going? All right, welcome to this information webinar of anatomy and physiology for the year 2025-26. And I'm joined here with Jace, my new friend here. And so I'm going to kind of show you about how the academy works and everything, and especially how this course works. Okay, sounds good. Have you taken classes at the Well-Educated Heart Academy before?
Yeah, I'm doing the Discovering True Identity this year.
Okay. Excellent. With Ty Crossley.
Yeah.
He's a great teacher. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Good. So you know basically how the whole website works and everything. So we won't spend much time with that. Let me go ahead and share my screen here, and we'll look at here, yes. So we'll look at the anatomy and physiology course specifically. So let me set the other screens here in the right position. Okay. Since it's just the two of us, at least so far, you can stay unmuted if you want to ask questions or whatever, you know. So okay. So you probably have seen already the schedule of classes that we have for 2025-26. So we have all the courses that we have available here. All right. And now let's go and take a look at science, okay, anatomy and physiology for this next year. And here, all the courses, little by little, we are going to do the preview for all the courses, but here you can click on preview and see the course overview. All right, so you can actually see this even before you purchase the course, the whole week one and the overview. And I have here kind of a short introductory video of for anatomy and physiology, what we are going to study. Okay, so the main topics here for the course. Okay, and then what are kind of the expectations of participation and everything in the course. Okay, so that is basically what we are going to be doing. All right, what do you think about these topics?
Yeah, it looks pretty good. Looks cool.
Excellent, good. Okay. So then in week one, I have information about the required textbook, and I have a link here for the textbook. We are going to use this book, Anatomy Coloring Workbook, and it's very complete and it's really, really fun to do and to read, very informative, and it will help you learn all the different parts of the different body systems. Okay, so that is kind of the main textbook that we are going to be using. I'm suggesting, you know, if you have some younger siblings that also want to participate in the class and do and learn and so on, they can use this other book here, this one, that is a lot more basic. Okay, so this one is, you know, very good, but it's very basic. So for middle school, high school students like you, I suggest this other one. Okay. All right. And because of that, because we are going to be doing a lot of coloring, I highly recommend that you get a nice set of color pencils for the course. Okay. Sounds good.
Yeah. My sister is big on colored pencils, so shouldn't be
Okay.
too hard.
It shouldn't be too hard. So we have access to color pencils. That will be great. Okay. We are also going to be using a software here in the course called Labster. It's a lab simulation software. Okay. And so when you register for the course. You can also register here for Lobster. And let me show you how Lobster kind of looks like. So we have lots of different simulations. I think that there's like, I don't know how many simulations are here for anatomy and physiology specifically. Okay. But the cool thing is that these simulations really cover all the different topics that we are going to be looking at during the school year. And they allowed you to explore the topics at more depth and kind of more of a hands-on way. All right. Okay.
All right.
Yeah. So that is what we have there for Lobster. And then I have here for week 1 also that you can preview the video of me explaining about anatomy and physiology, what it is, and so on. Okay, we get into the physiology, anatomy and physiology of a shoe. And we have here an assignment for the first week for you to do a video explaining the anatomy and physiology of an object, anything that you want. Okay, so everything has its own parts and the names of parts and what are they for and everything. And so I want you to kind of be looking at that. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. And then once you complete the lessons, every lesson you can mark it as complete. The ones where we have an assignment, you are going to put the assignment here in this lesson, the week 1 reading assignments, okay, lesson. Okay, yeah. So that is the in the comment section. So for example, here where you need to do a video, you put the video here at week 1. All right, at the end of week 1. Okay. I have also links to other videos. We are going to use several videos from the Institute of Human Anatomy. It's a really very nice YouTube channel, and they have really cool videos on that. This one is actually about how to learn in anatomy. And then I have here for week 1 another video of me explaining about the different body systems and so on. And then for sure we have on week 1 the reading assignments. So we have the reading assignments and indicating the pages of the textbook to read and what to color, and then the idea is that you would take notes. So here in anatomy and physiology, I expect you to have a notebook, a bound notebook, all right, where you can take notes of the things that you are learning from the videos and from the lesson. Okay. Hello. Hi. Hi, Mom. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Great. Excellent.
Good. I just had to pick some kids up and drop them off somewhere else and run back. So
Thank you so much for that. I totally understand. So I was showing Jace the preview of what is available. So you can, in any of the courses that have this preview, it means that there are some parts of the course that are available to preview before buying. Okay. Our intent is to make all the courses with a preview, right? And so that is what we are going to try to do. And so here in the preview for anatomy and physiology, we have the overview available and explains kind of a syllabus with all the different topics of what the class is going to cover. And then you can also look into week 1, all of week 1, and it has information about the textbooks that we are going to be using, okay? Actually, we are using one textbook. This one is for all the middle school, high school students. Okay. All right. Hello, Emmy. Good to see you. All right. And so that would be the book, because we are going to do a lot of coloring in the book. The book is really a coloring workbook. I want the students to have a nice set of color pencils. And also, we are going to be using a software called Labster that has simulations, lab simulations, all related to anatomy. And the idea is that the students will have basically three sources of information for learning the material. All right. One source is going to be the textbook. Okay, that they color and annotate, and if they have questions, they can ask questions right then and there in the textbook. Then the students would be expected to take pictures of the pages of the book that they color, that are in part of the assignment, and upload those into one document in here, in the week 1 assignments. Okay, so here underneath in the comments, they would have available to turn in their assignments. Let me show you a couple of examples of that. So let me go to the current course that I'm teaching this year. This is going to hopefully, let me see if we can get some examples of what I mean by the assignment. So here, for example, we have the assignments for week 8, and I'm explaining in here what are the pages that the students are expected to study and read. And then they come down here and they turn in their assignments, okay, over here. All right, so let me see if I can show you. Yeah, one of the students. Okay, usually I want the pictures to be vertical so I can actually see them. Okay, but this is basically the idea, that as they are studying, they turn in their assignments this way. Okay, and so they put all the pages into one document for me to see. All right, let me see if I can see another example. Let me take, okay, so here I have another example. All right, so this is actually a good example of what I'm expecting from the students. So I want the students to color the textbook and then take pictures of their textbook. And also, I'm expecting them to have a bound notebook. I really don't like 3-ring binders because all the pages end up in the trash. Okay, so no. So I want you to get a bound notebook, and then you can take notes in the notebook for the week of all the things that you are learning from the videos of the lesson. Okay, so we have basically 3 sources of information: the textbook, the videos that I link in the lesson, and then the Labster simulations. Okay, so we have this software Labster where I'm going to be assigning week by week different simulations. And so as you complete those, you take notes on the notebook of what you are learning. You also take pictures of that and put them all into one place. Okay, and then you submit everything for me to see that you have done your assignment. All right, sounds good. Okay, another important thing, really a critical thing of this, is that if you have questions, I'm actually encouraging always the students to write the questions in their assignment. Okay. So they can write them here in the notebook, or they can actually write the questions directly on the textbook, on the pages that they are coloring and everything. And so this way, when I get the assignments and I see the questions, that is kind of the content of the live class. All right. So during the live class, we are going to be answering all the questions that the students have. All right. Does that make sense? Okay. So this is a good example of that. Okay, of how the course works. And again, we are going to be going over the whole course here. We have lots of videos, the simulations, reading assignments, and then the live class where we come together to discuss what we have learned. Okay. We are also going to be doing some Kahoot quizzes during the live class, and a little bit of competition there, friendly competition on that. So those are kind of the things that I have prepared for class. Okay.
Really, sir.
You're listening to that guy again.
Any questions?
What are you listening
Okay. Hello, iPhone 2. Emmy and Blurry sister come into is that Emmy Blurry sister or Blurry mom?
That's my mom. So
Okay. Hi, mom. All right. So thank you. All right. So that is kind of the overview of the course of anatomy and physiology. This is a really engaging course. The more curious than the students are, the better. All right. We encourage a lot of questions and answers and everything during the live classes. That makes the classes to be really engaging. And I'm basically expecting a lot of curiosity for learning how the human body works. Okay. I'm not a medical doctor, but I love to study everything and to learn about everything. And so I have taught this course. Now this would be probably the fourth time. All right. So, I have quite a bit of experience with it. But I'm always learning, and I'm always surprised at how beautiful it is, all the things that Heavenly Father has created for us in our bodies. Okay. So any questions that I can entertain? Mm-hmm.
I have a question for you. I know that a lot of the teachers, if not all, and a lot of students all come from the same kind of faith background, and we do as well. And I know that Jace took a literature class, and I love that aspect. I'm curious in terms of inviting other friends who come from different backgrounds, specifically in anatomy class, like, is there going to be word of wisdom, or, like, are we going to be talking about things like coffee or tea that will make this feel uncomfortable for people who come from a different belief?
No, not necessarily. Okay. Like I mentioned before, some of the lessons have videos. I use a lot of videos from YouTube. Okay.
Mhm.
And one of the channels that I really like is called the Institute of Human Anatomy. All right. And in that channel, I think that I know they have some videos that talk about the effects of caffeine and the effects of alcohol in the body.
Sure.
And I think that I have them linked here in the lesson, but they are not necessarily, they are basically from a physiological point of view, looking at what are the effects of these substances.
Right. Okay.
So
very fair.
yeah. Mm-hmm. So we try to be very, very ecumenical. We are not, specific about any faith tradition. We don't shy about talking about God and so on. We start every class with a prayer. I always ask someone if they are willing to offer a prayer. Okay.
Mhm.
And if for some reason they say no, I try to remember not to ask them again.
Okay, great.
Okay. So Jace offered the prayer today.
Yeah, that's what he said. He was the only
Yeah.
one on, so he got to pray. Good job.
That's right. Yes. So yeah, that is how we do it. Mhm.
Great,
Okay.
thank you.
Yeah.
Any other questions?
All right. Any questions from you? Okay. Are you curious? Okay. Do you like to explore things? All right. Good. That is how we like it. All right. So yeah. Yes. Go
How
ahead.
many hours of work do you think people normally put in each week?
It normally is between 3 to 4 hours. Okay. I try to design every week with about that amount of work time. Okay. So there may be a couple of lessons that have more videos, but then I try to have a little bit less of this or the other, and so on. The lobster simulations that we have, actually, let me share the screen again. Okay. So the lobster simulations, when you click on them, they actually tell you how many minutes is expected to take. Okay. All right. So, that is one thing to consider. Okay. Did I share the screen? No, I didn't share the screen. Okay, there we go. So when you go to any of the simulations, you can see, okay, this one is about 30 minutes. This one, 28 minutes. I don't know why they put 28 minutes instead of 30, like it's an estimate. Right? So, okay. A little shorter than the previous one, I guess. But it all depends really on how the students do and so on, how concentrated they are and everything. All right. So the videos usually that I utilize, okay, they are not that long. So this one, I think that is like 15, 20 minutes. So that is about the length of the videos. There are some videos that are shorter, okay, in the different lessons. Let me go over here and see. So for example, here we have the skeletal system. We have several videos, but many of these videos are kind of short, all right? And then the main thing is the reading assignment, where we have the pages, and I try to do between six pages in the textbook. So 3 pages would be reading, and the other pages would be coloring. Okay. So about that many.
Are there other, is everything that's lab, is it all part of that Labster? Is there anything else in terms of like materials or things at home that we would be doing extra or?
Not really. And one time I tried to do a dissection, okay, and I did a dissection myself and did the video of that. I haven't been able to find that video, dang it. Okay, so I need to kind of redo it. But yeah, we are probably not going to have the students do any of those things. So yeah. Okay. So
What
that is kind of the thing. Yes.
what would you say has been the students' favorite part of this course?
the favorite part is actually the being able to ask questions and get answers to their questions. Okay, so that is actually the best part is really in the live classes. If I have a group of students that is very curious and they write a lot of questions in their assignments and they are willing to participate that way during the class, then the class is very fun and engaging. Okay, so it really depends a lot on them that way. Okay. Another thing that we do that I think is very fun for the students is at the end of the year, probably the last 3 or 4 weeks of the school year, we are going to have the students sign up to do a presentation in class. Okay, so they pick a topic on the course on anatomy and physiology of their choice. Okay, they pick the date and the topic, and then they do the presentation. Okay, just a 10-minute presentation and so on of something that they really enjoy or they want to study more in depth. Okay. Yeah. This course is very versatile as far as age goes. All right. So I have had very young students doing very successful with this course, and also I have had juniors and seniors in the age students that they also love it and they learn a lot. But again, it all depends on how much you put into it. Okay.
Another question.
Yeah.
There seems to be a lot of really great classes to choose from. Do you have any advice on helping her be able to choose like what's going to be good?
Oh, yeah, holy cow. That is probably the hardest thing. Okay. Because really all these classes are fantastic. Okay. Emily, have you taken another class with the academy?
Yes, I took the digital art this last year, so
Okay. How was your experience?
I really, really liked it.
Excellent. You know, and see there we have an art class online, all right? But the way that the classes are designed and structured, I feel that they are really good at helping the students focus on learning instead of stressing about grades or tests or things like that. Okay, so our emphasis is really on your learning. Okay, so my best advice as far as which classes to take is to really focus on what is it that you are interested in learning. Okay, what do you want to learn? All right, and then go for that. Okay, so let me share again here. If we look a little bit at some of the schedule, I imagine that you have had already a chance to look at here the schedule of classes and everything. We have this is the schedule for this next school year, and we have 40 courses. Okay, that is crazy. We have 40 courses and they are all so good, really. And I'm going to be teaching anatomy and physiology, the earth science course, a geometry course where we study Euclid, the first 4 books of the elements of Euclid, a very good introduction to mathematics. Okay, but you know, and to mathematics and to scientific reasoning, really. That is what this course is about. And then I teach also pre-algebra and algebra 1. Okay, we have those are those are the 4 courses that we have for math: pre-algebra, algebra 1, geometry, and algebra 2. And for science, we have the anatomy and physiology, earth science, chemistry, and the principles of engineering. Okay, the engineering principles. So really fantastic courses. I recommend that, again, you choose what you are most interested in, but don't overload yourself. Okay, don't do too much. Okay, so you have, both of you, Jace and Emmy, you have had experience already with our courses, and so you know about the expectations and the workload and everything. And these courses really, they are very doable, but they do expect you to stay on top of things, Okay. And so I try to do a lot of things as much as possible that are offline. Okay, for example, here in anatomy and physiology, that is one of the reasons why I chose to do the coloring book. So you can do the studying with something that requires you to be on a physical textbook instead of online. All right. So that is kind of the idea. What are you thinking?
I've been really looking into like a lot of them. I think a lot of the things that are specifically standing out to me are like the geography, and then like maybe one of these like sciences. I don't know, maybe the like watercolor, but yeah.
Yeah, excellent. Good. Okay. So yeah, we have really now a full curriculum for the students to choose from. And you don't have to conquer everything in 1 year. Just give yourself time, okay, and enjoy the learning journey. Okay. The main thing really is for you to enhance your educational experience. Okay. Yeah. What are you doing, Emmy, for math, for your math education?
That's kind of a question mark right now. I like I've sort of been doing these like worksheets. Minimalist math is what it's called. But I've been kind of looking into something different because I don't know. I feel like I'm just not really progressing with my math. So
Okay. So Jace, what are you doing for your math education? How is that coming?
I'm doing pre-algebra with art of problem solving. So
Okay. So what curriculum is that?
It's called Art of Problem Solving. It's the same people who do Beast Academy.
Okay.
It's just, we just have a book, a textbook, and a solutions book, and we do it.
Okay. All right. Excellent. And it's working well for you? Great.
Yeah.
Okay. So iPhone 2, what are you doing for math? I don't know if we are going to get a response there. So
Hi,
hi.
my daughter is doing Learn Math Fast, but she doesn't love it that much. She's in the
Okay.
last book, but she doesn't, it hasn't been the best.
It hasn't been the best. Okay, so what I'm doing here in our academy is this the geometry course. The Euclidean geometry is really kind of a course about learning to reason and starting from the beginning. Okay, so one effect that I have seen is that many students, when they take this course and they actually really put the time and effort into it, that it resets their attitude and their love for learning math. All right. So it's kind of a very different approach to do that. So that is one recommendation, is a course that you could start with. Okay, if you are looking into something different, is challenging, but it is, based on the elements of Euclid, which is the most successful textbook ever written. That's it. So you cannot go wrong with that. Imagine having a textbook that has been in constant use for over 2,000 years. That is a successful run for a textbook. Okay. Yeah, and so that is what we study in the geometry course. In pre-algebra, I'm going to be using a variety of books, okay? And we use a lot of Khan Academy videos and the exercises online, because again, that is a very good platform and is available for us, okay? And so that is kind of what I'm using for that. But my approach is that we are going to have the students take a placement test, all right, to see where they are at in their math journey, and see whether they need to go into pre-algebra or algebra 1 or algebra 2, okay? And I'm of the opinion that it is much better for math to progress slowly, but with a very good foundation, okay? And so we are going to be starting on the pre-algebra course at a very, very beginning level, okay? So for many students, there will be lessons that are kind of a review, but we want to make sure that everyone has a solid foundation, okay? Normally, for example, students would, if they start a pre-algebra course, it is assumed that they understand how to do operations with fractions with no problem, okay? But what I have found is that there are a lot of students that are kind of, they see an algebraic sum of fractions and they get an allergic reaction to that, and they're like, what do I do here? Help me out of here. So what I want is really to start kind of slowly, but being on a very good, solid foundation, so everyone can progress well. Okay. All right. Excellent. So we have talked a little bit about other things, okay, not just the anatomy and physiology. Any other questions that I can answer for you guys? Okay. All right. Well, thank you so much for joining. I really appreciate it, and I hope that this has been informative, okay, and somewhat entertaining. All right. So, great. Let me stop the recording here.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. I appreciate